not about us. Who cares if I win or lose as long as the story comes off the way it's supposed to come off? And you don't see that today. I talk to people all the time about, I have a lot of friends at Two Guys Smoke Shop, and if you guys smoke cigars, come on, we'll go up and have a few sticks. But at Two Guys, we're always talking about wrestling at some point, and they all say the same thing. I watch a little here, watch a little there. It's not the same. There's no stories. There's nothing to it. And then you hear somebody say, boy, I really hate that Seth Rollins. Great, Seth, you're doing a good job. But then they cut the storyline off. When you take a man, and I think it all started when the WWE thought it was funny to take superstars like Dusty Rhodes and dress them in polka dots and send them out into that ring. When you start a storyline with somebody and for a couple of weeks and then it's gone, what is there to follow? A great man, Dusty Rhodes, great human being, one of the all-time greats. Cody Rhodes has got big boots to fill. Let me tell you right now.
Well, let me ask you a question on it. I don't mean to cut you off, but you did say something about taking the belt from Roman Reigns. And by the way,
outrage!
This old man loves our tribal chief. Okay, just so we understand this. Don't you think? I got two questions now. Don't you think it's important that Roman passes Hogan, right? And two, the biggest thing you just mentioned, do you really think Cody Rhodes is the guy to carry the WWE further down the road? Can he fill our tribal chief's boots? Jimmy, put your hand up, please. Show the respect to our tribal chief. Thank you. John?
You okay over there? Acknowledge him, John.
When he first started, I made a comment, and God rest his soul, on Dan Mirade's Boston Wrestling. We had that show every week. And I made the comment that Roman Reigns just didn't have it because they brought him in the wrong way. If they'd have brought Roman Reigns in as what he is now, and then turned him face, he would be the face of the company. I'll say this, and maybe I'm all wet. I don't think you'll ever see another face of the company. I think you'll see superstars who will be recognized to be able to accomplish great deals, but you'll never see another Stone Cold Steve Austin, another face. You won't see another Dwayne Johnson, another face. You won't see those types of people coming in. Is Cody Rhodes, and one thing, Roman Reigns with that belt, if you look at the number of times Hulk Hogan defended it and the number of times your tribal chief has defended it, Stefan Yen defended the tribal chief, and Hulk Hogan, what you gonna do, brother, when I kick your ass, right? And that's what makes it bad. You see, if he's a true fighting champion, I don't care how he does it, how he wins. If Paul Heyman shoves a thermometer up your nose and you can't breathe and he pins you, who cares? If you get hit with a chair or a Solo Sakai comes in and beats you up, who cares? At least he's doing something. He's defending his title. It doesn't work.
But John,
he's not a fighting champion.
Don't you want our Universal Champion every time he defends a title to be a special occasion, like a Mike Tyson-esque bout?
I'm going to say this. Yes, everybody wants a special occasion, but when you and I can sit here, and this is what's wrong with professional wrestling today, when I can sit here with my 10-year-old granddaughter, and she said, Papa, Roman Reigns is going to win again. Papa, Cody Rhodes is going to win again. You know what? That's not wrestling. That's just bullshit. And so, and I'm being very open-minded, right? I'm sorry, but I think at some point, this is not about a champion. This is about they want me to beat this man's record. They don't give a damn how I do it. He's beaten everybody else's record. But now they want him to beat Hulk Hogan's record, and then he'll drop the belt.
Right.
Well, what about John Cena being 17-time heavyweight champion?
Yeah.
What about that?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
doesn't. I'm just using that as not because he's my son. Forget he's my son.
Right.
What about
Yeah.
it? Let's look at all he's done, how he's done it. Where is that reward? Now, Cody
Right.
Rhodes. You asked me about Cody. When I was getting my ass kicked by Randy Orton in that ring for the main event, who came to my rescue for the first time? It was Cody Rhodes. And when they did a gimmick on what did Cody Rhodes have in his bag in the locker room, he had Fabo bucks. So is Rhodes the guy? He's got the look. He has the determination. But does he have the endurance to keep putting the asses in seats? Because what I see with professional wrestling is people tire quickly. Unless it's interesting, captivating, and mystical, it doesn't work. Will he ever become the face of the company? I make my statement again. I don't think there'll ever, in professional wrestling, be another face of the WWE,
Is it
AEW, TNA, whatever it is. There won't be a face.
John, is it fair to say, though, that Roman Reigns, during this run, has kept the fans involved?
He has.
I think
he has.
I think it's fair to say what I hear on the outside. I'm tired of it.
Oh, you're
I'm
mean.
tired of it.
You're so mean.
Because
fair.
the wins that Roman has had have not been accomplished on his own. One, not good. Not good. If he wants to be recognized for what he is and who he is, the tribal chief, because what did Dwayne Johnson say? The real tribal chief is here, right? And that's going to be a beautiful storyline. Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and your tribal chief, right? I just think that it's being handled all wrong. That it should have ended a long time ago. I thought it was going to end. I thought Solo Sakai would be the guy to dethrone him, and then Cody Rhodes would come in and take care of it on the other side. Now we have The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, back in the mix again, which is, I guess, okay, because my prediction is, and I think the world of Dwayne Johnson, I do, and The Rock, but I don't think this time he's going to go away. It's not going to be one and done. I don't think you're going to see him go away.
Okay, John, I got to ask you. Okay, Mike and I have talked about this a lot. Is your son the last great face in the history of the WWE? Because we do put your son on the level of a Hulk Hogan, before him Bruno, Stone Cold later on, a different kind of good guy, but still a good guy nonetheless. He's a face, one way or the other. The Rock. John Cena is on that list.
Can
is
I
he
add,
the last great face?
Can I add on to your question real quick? Also, to answer
Roman Reigns?
Jimmy's question, being a true wrestling fan, how proud are you that you have a son that, in I think everybody's mind, is in the top 4 greatest wrestlers ever to step in a ring?
The last great face.
Yep.
I'm very proud of my son and what he's accomplished, because my son has done it on his own. You know, people think you just turn around and that's it. He slept in his car in California. He lied to me he didn't have a place to live. He worked 85 hours at the gym until they found him at UPW. And then he still continued to sleep in a car, work on the beaches, driving to wrestling shows. You know, there are a lot of guys like my son who have worked their way from the bottom to the top. Dedication, and he does have, like a lot of people, dedication to the WWE, WWF. I would say this, and I alluded to the fact that I don't think there'll ever be another face of the WWF or WWE or AEW or whatever. So why don't we just say, I named 2 people, let's add Cena to the list. How's that? I don't want any prejudice. I don't want anybody to say, you know, he's your kid. Let's just add him to the list. I mean, you know?
He is.
So if you look at wrestling today, you tell me now, my question to the both of you is, who do you see in WWE that's going to carry that torch as long as Cena, as long as Austin, as long as The Rock. Who's going to do that? There's nobody that can do that. San Martino. Who? Nobody. I don't see anybody there. I really don't. Do I see a lot of good talent? Do I see a lot of young men and women who deserve shots and are getting them that may be able to carry it for a time? Yeah, but nobody's going to carry it for 16 years. Nobody's going to carry it for 5 or 10 years. Nobody. There's nobody there. And Roman Reigns, right now, your buddy, people just say enough is enough. And now it's a case of, and maybe this is why people don't like what they see. Now it's not a case of what the fans want. It's a case of what management wants. They want to destroy Hulk Hogan's record. Well, good. Have a nice day. Enjoy it.
John, I love you to death. I agreed with you on 99%, but boy, you hurt my feelings on these Roman Reigns comments. You're really crushing my soul.
Mine too.
John,
the bloodline is one of the best stories of the last kabillion years, and it's been interesting for years, John. I'm very disappointed in you. God bless you.
Well, I never said I didn't like the bloodline story, because they have one of the greatest managers in the world, Paul Heyman.
Yes.
Remember one thing, that bloodline would be nothing without Heyman and Roman Reigns, because it was Reigns' idea. I believe the bloodline was Reigns' idea. So Reigns is good at what he's doing, but now, like anything else, it's like you and I go into an ice cream shop, and every day we get as much ice cream as we want. How long will it be before you say, hold it, I've had enough ice cream? Because you've had people out there that were able to beat or should have beaten the tribal chief but didn't. So you see what's happening is the days of cheating and getting the lousy win, those days right now, people are saying this is getting just a little bit too much. Well, and I think it's better to ride the horse out. And I think the way to do it is Reigns gets screwed and now turns face. Doesn't mean you can't create a second bloodline with your tribal chief, but on the other side. You see, there's a lot of potential here for a lot of story, but I think it's time now to admit the fact that enough is enough. You've got a Universal Champion, and I'm just going to say it myself, one who can't and won't defend the title. When he does defend the title, he screws over everybody he fights. So why not have some clean wins? Why not have him do it by himself? Well, let's put you in the ring against him and see what you can do.
Well, first of all, I'm fat, and it's clear that I could keep eating ice cream, and I'll never stop. So, John, before we go,
wrong with me? I hope that if I ever faced him, that he cheats and I lose. There's got to be something wrong with me.
But before we go, I think it's important that we show our respects to Dan Mirade. Again, everybody knows the back and forth we had with Dan, and that's how we met the great John Cena. And unfortunately, Dan passed away. Have you been in touch with Dan's family at all, or can you tell us a little bit?
No, that was a very tragic situation, and I think that thing got blown out of proportion. But let's leave the past behind, and let's forget and forgive everyone involved, because it's over and done with. We wanted to do a memorial show, but the family, I believe, just didn't want to do that, and I can understand why. And so what's happened is people have kind of gone their separate ways. Excuse me. I speak to his brother once in a while. He's asked me to do something for a bunch of kids in Melrose, go down and speak to them. So I'm going to do that on the 22nd. And I think it's either Malden, Mass. I'm going to go down and chat with those young people. But no, very little contact. I bumped into his business partner. I was at a restaurant. I didn't recognize. I was at the Tuckaway Tavern. Didn't even recognize this guy. He had a beard. You remember me? I said, when it was his partner. And we basically chatted, and they sold all the memorabilia that he had. And believe me when I tell you, I didn't realize the extensive amount of memorabilia that this young man had collected. Not only did he have it was in the studio, I guess, but a room at his dad's home, and a storage locker. I'm sure that that would have been his favorite charity was Special Olympics. But all that was disseminated. The last show we had to cancel. That was it. And then I spoke to the family. We all spoke, and they didn't want to go forward with the show and didn't want to do a benefit. And I guess that's it. It's over and it's done with.
Well, again, he is missed by so many fans. What he built, and honestly, what he did for the industry cannot be challenged. And again,
Like him or hate him, and I believe me, I walked out on that guy 3 or 4 times. I didn't like the way he treated people. I was very vocal. I don't like you taking advantage of people. The one thing I despise is making fun of somebody with a handicap or that speaks with a lisp. So I walked out 3 or 4 times. I make no bones about it. I've had my shit hands with him too, but forgive and forget, as I say. And I made it very clear the last time I came back that if it ever happens again, this is the last time you'll see me. I'm just not tolerating this because this is not what this business is about. But he did a lot for a lot of people. He took a lot of the older wrestlers and kind of gave them hands. There's all kinds of stories out there, fact or fiction, I don't know. But it is what it is. What's done is done. He loved what he did. He loved the business. It's unfortunate that the accident occurred, but that's why I think we're back to the beginning of the show. Went home, took a shower. Father heard a thud in the bathroom, and that was it. So it's a road that we all travel. Let's travel it with joy, love, and smiles in our hearts. Don't look for hate or anger or revenge, and just enjoy this ride, because when the breeze comes and blows out the candle, it's out for good.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the way it went, and he was always, and I will say this, he was always in severe pain. Because of the accident that he had, that automobile accident with the Sheik, hit by a drunk driver. He was always in severe pain, always in pain. Sometimes he get calls, he's going to kill himself. That's how bad it was. And so through that, he still managed to do some stuff. Did he do stuff right all the time? No, I wasn't impressed when he allowed Marty Jannetty to do that TV show Drunk, and talk about Linda McMahon and some other people that way. And I'm sure Marty was embarrassed when he saw it. But, that's just the way it is. But outside of that, like I say, we all have our faults. We all have our skeletons. And that's why I say to people, the old Irish saying is you can't pee in the wind, and don't throw stones because somehow they hit a rubber wall and they come back and hit you. And then when they come back, they hit you hard.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of sit back in my own life.
One thing I don't want to get lost on the whole thing, what you guys did with that channel and the entertainment you gave to so many people, especially during COVID, should not be forgotten. He helped and you helped, and I think Oscar had a show with him on there. Marty Jannetty, obviously, Atlas. What you guys did for fans out there, which, only had their laptop or their computer and MWF Boston Wrestling Channel, it just should never be forgotten. And I know on this show, me and Jimmy will never forget Mirade at all. We know what he did for the people out there. So, and again, the same goes for you. So, obviously in life we have negatives and positives, but I claim to think that there's more positives that Mirade gave out to the world than negatives, for sure.
I believe that. I do. Well, you guys are going to have to come up here and get some Chinese food at the Kowloon.
I'm going to
I'll look forward.
I am going to come up and see you. And again, John, I want to say this, and then I'll let Jimmy speak. You are, again, one of the most impressive people I've ever met. You're calm. You're funny. And again, it's no wonder that all your sons turned out as great as they all turned out to be. You should be very proud to be a father and what you've done, and you should be just very proud of everything that you've done. I got to tell you that you mean the world to me and Jimmy, and I could speak to Jimmy on that. Jimmy.
Yeah, he's got me thinking about Dam Mirade, and we don't normally, I don't normally say this, but he was such a worthy opponent. He really was, because his product was good, his guests were good, and at the end of the day, it was a terrible tragedy. John, I just want to thank you, because you're right there, and Mike knows how we feel about Bob Backlund when he came into the studio. You are right there, as far as just an absolute pleasure to talk to. You're rational, and you get what we're doing and have been doing for years now. And I really, really appreciate the fact that you're a gentleman to us, because most people, think we're lunatics. But I really do appreciate everything about you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and you guys are brothers to me, and it's an honor and a privilege to be allowed to come back on your show. And please, my door is open anytime. And again, it's great to see the both of you. You're both looking good. Stay healthy, be well, be safe.